The next session being a panel discussion titled Industry 5.0, The Future of Manufacturing. And first up, I'd like to call on stage the moderator of this panel, Biswajit Bhattacharya, automotive industry leader, India and South Asia at IBM Consulting. Kindly put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Biswajit Bhattacharya. Welcome, Biswajit. I now welcome the members of this panel to join Biswajit on stage. Sourabh Tiwari, CDIO at Forbes Marshall Group of Companies. Kindly put your hands together for Sourabh as he makes his way up. And do keep the applause going as I mention the names and welcome the other members of this panel. Radhakrishnan, Kodakkal, VP and Head Global Technology and Engineering Center at Whirlpool Corporation. Please put your hands together for Radhakrishnan. Rahul Tomar, Director Digital Solutions at Johnson Controls. Kindly put your hands together for Rahul. Welcome, Rahul. Satej, Revankar, CIO, FIAT India Automobiles. Do we have Satej? Okay, he'll be joining us. He's just arrived, so he'll be joining us. And Gargi Singh, Integrated Supply Chain IT Leader at Cummins, India. Welcome, Gargi. Penultimate session, and it's nice to see a lady at this very nuts and bolts Industry 4.0 conclave. So I think Gargi deserves another round of applause. A nice, generous round of applause. So Satej will join us in a couple of minutes. So I'll hand over the floor to you, Biswajit. All yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the future of manufacturing. Let me start by sharing a secret. I run marathon across the world, and let me share that we all runners, while we run, we enjoy the running, but we also love flaunting our shoes and the apparels and all. Now today, Nike, one of the major brand in the sports apparel side, allows us to buy shoes personalized for each of us. And this happens through their existing channel and without any additional cost. Welcome to the era of mass customization. That's Industry 5.0 for you. So for me, the Industry 5.0 has three prominent themes. Number one, it's focused about human centricity. What does it mean? It helps your employees to provide the best results for your customers. Number two, it increases the ability of the organization to be more resilient and agile in terms of the processes, in terms of adopting the technologies what is needed. Third, and this is very important in today's context, is the green manufacturing and start building the net zero environment around us. We have been talking about Industry 4.0. Now, Industry 4.0 is all about smart manufacturing, leveraging a lot of technologies. We know artificial intelligence, and including the machine learning part of it, which helps us to understand the pattern of the data and helps us to really understand the next best action, what needs to be taken. We have been doing RPAs, which actually helps us to automate a lot of our back-end processes and bring efficiencies from that standpoint. We have been using digital twins to understand the whole life cycle of our equipments, all of our assets. We also have been using a lot of cobots in our assembly lines and the warehouses to do things in a smarter way. And last but not the least is the whole transition from the 2G to 5G for a much better network capabilities. Industry 5.0 is expected to bring the human-robot co-working to a different level. And that is is lot more automation, to that extent of a light out factory in many of the cases. And it's already happening in many parts of the world, and some part of the work is already started in India. AI, IoT is going to be the core of Industry 5.0, along with the emerging technologies like metaverse, quantum computing, which brings a lot of those capabilities for us to really do that. And along with 6G, which is going to bring the network capability to the next level. Today with me, I have eminent practitioners who have been working on many of these themes in their organization. I'll go in rounds with each of them to understand their thought process. I'll ask them to share their experiences, and probably we'll try to keep some 8 to 10 minutes for an audience round where we should be able to get questions and you can ask us some certain clarification, and collectively we should be able to address each of them. So first, let me go with the lady in the panel. Gargi, you have been working a lot in the area of future of factories and new manufacturing technologies. What's your thought how it's going to kind of shape up, and what are the things what you've been doing?
Sure, thank you for the question. Good evening, everyone. And while you did acknowledge a diversity person coming up on stage, I think we all need to do a lot more to get more of my kind on the stage. Coming to your question, so yeah, Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0 in transitioning phase, right? So Cummins already is doing a lot more in Industry 4.0. We do have a few pillars around which our Industry 4.0 practices come through, like IIoT. We did speak a lot about it already since afternoon. We have advanced technologies from the manufacturing standpoint in terms of additive manufacturing or ALD. A few of our plants and businesses are already into ALD-related manufacturing. We did speak about cobots. Now we are talking about industrial mobile robots, IMRs, so the ones that actually go on the shop floor by themselves. The next area that we are into from an I 4.0 perspective is building a manufacturing data hub. So, that translates into all of your AI and ML and data insights. Secure and reliable networks is the next term, and, people focus, of course. So now when we talk of Industry 5.0, where, human centricity and societal and, sustainability is the next aspect. All our Industry 4.0 practices, what I spoke about the pillars earlier, are built around people, planet, and profits, right? So anything that you do in I 4.0, all sorts of automations, be it RPAs that we spoke of, or any, robots, correct? Those will continue, and those will bring in about the operational efficiencies directly contributing to your bottom line. So that takes care of the profits. For the people and planet, people, we are doing a lot more in terms of upskilling and seeing where the real skill gaps are as we actually go to the next level. So there is a very genuine structured program that is put behind it in terms of buy, borrow, or build skills, right? So whether we hire people, whether we cross-leverage multiple teams, or whether we have our own people build up certain skills that could be built. So there's a lot of focus on the people aspect already, which is one of the major pillars of Industry 5.0. Coming to the final leg of sustainability, I think we are one of the contributors to GHG by the virtue of our business, right? So this whole aspect of sustainability and zero destination is something which is extremely close to our hearts. And we have a very detailed, elaborate roadmap called Planet 2050. And while it's a long-term roadmap, we have shorter programs where we have something called as Planet 2030, and how it entails for the entire Zero Destination Zero program. So Cummins does a lot of work in terms of, water works for the societal. And at the same time, for our component building, the mantra is new and it's simple. It's use less, use better, and use again. So Cummins does have a reconditioning plan where we get back the old used engines. We literally tear them apart and we kind of put them back together and we sell them as reconditioned ones. So There is a lot of focus already when we talk on Industry 4.0 going towards Industry 5.0.
Thanks, Gargi. Thanks for your thought. I'll come to Rahul on that particular point of sustainability. You have been working in that space a lot. If you can share your thought, Rahul.
Hello. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vishwa. See, we have been talking a lot of Industry 4.0, 5.0. Now, this is a natural transition which happens, right? While Industry 4.0 was all built around increasing your plant's efficiencies and productivities, using IoT devices, using a lot of sensorization. From Johnson Controls perspective, we are a buildings domain company. We are one of the largest pure play buildings company today in the world. We focus on your built environment, and we cut across the sectors, whether it is industries, whether it is hospitals, whether it is airports. So with more than 100,000 people across the world, sustainability is built into all our solutions offering which we offer today. We are among the top 100 companies today in terms of world sustainability practices. We're recognized in more than 40 world sustainability index. OpenBlue is one of our digital solution platform which helps across the industries, reducing your carbon emissions, understanding your buildings in a manner in which you want to. Now, Suresh from MB, he talked about building a digital twin of your factories. We build digital twins of your building. We build digital twins of your plant rooms, your central utility plants, which are the biggest contributor of the greenhouse gas emissions in any industry. Not only you can simulate your environment, you can also look at the optimizations of your plants automatically through AI and machine learning algorithms. Also, it works on a feedback loop. What is Industry 5.0 is work human centricity, right? It works on a feedback loop of your experts, giving them insights into your operations and how they can drive better results using simulation and automation together working in sync. That's a key goal. And we have been working across industries. So if you look at, we have been saving more than $6.8 billion of energy cost across the sectors for our customers. And we have ourselves, reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 70%, energy emissions by 50%. Our buildings are connected today, talking to each other. We are monitoring our emission scope 1, scope 2, and then we are providing similar solutions to our customers to monitor the emissions, to control them, and provide the solutions which not only affect a healthy planet, but also people and places. Places is somewhere you spend most of your time, bearing aside COVID, places were the time where you spend most of the time, right? Even today in your factories, in your offices. So how we can move towards using digitization as a tool, but then enabling a wider goal which have a wider social impact in terms of sustainability journey is the key theme of Johnson. And we do a lot of projects across, whether it is helping you in reducing your carbon emissions, whether it is moving towards the renewable sources, whether it is energy guaranteed programs. We do everything for your built environment, right from your plant rooms to your controls to security to access, everything within a buildings domain, Johnson provides the solutions for. So that's where we fit in.
Thanks, Rahul. And at this point of time, I just want to also mention one very important aspect. Industry 4.0 and 5.0 often gets related to the manufacturing function, but it's not. It's the whole part of running the business. And I think Rahul's point of the way the whole facilities are managed from a sustainability perspective kind of brings that flavor in. With that, I'll go to Radha. Radha, you've been running the complete manufacturing solutions, or the innovation in manufacturing solution for the Whirlpool global organization. And if you can just share your views, how we are really kind of getting into how Whirlpool is looking at leveraging the technologies to really kind of excel in manufacturing and give the best to its customers.
Thank you, thank you. So being a consumer durable company or appliance company and in high volume manufacturing, so really the digital transformation is critical for us to differentiate. And it starts from the design itself. So how do you design a manufacturing line using discrete event simulation or simulated manufacturing before you even lay a stone there? And the second thing is really using AR, VR technology to really optimize your design for manufacturing or design for assembly. And finally, looking at data, so really do analysis and create business insights from the data what is created from the production line or from supply chain, etc. So this is all around Industry 4.0. So if you fast forward in future, so imagine you are able to connect all your factories. In case of Whirlpool, we have factories across the globe. So if you are able to connect the factories and get this data and have a feedback loop, and you create a production line based on your original simulation, and then you have data back, how it is performing, and then use adaptive intelligence to really optimize it. So you're sort of having a learning system. So that's sort of one step towards Industry 5.0. And then the other one is really the concept of integrated digital twin. So we all talk about digital twin. So let me lay out the concept of integrated digital twin. So that is really connecting your design, verification, validation, and what happens in the production, and also what happens at the field. In our case, our equipments are with consumer. So if you're able to integrate all these things, what you can do eventually is great. And one example is, let's say, you have the data coming back from the consumer, how the consumer uses it, and that scenarios can be used to optimize your production test so that you actually create efficiency there. And also, going back to what the Nike example, so can we create a personalized appliance based on a user's characteristics? So that's sort of ultimate goal. And also connecting back to the sustainability, imagine a situation where you have a washing machine running at your home. At the end of the cycle, and you put clothes there, you don't need to select anything, you just start. Looking at the type of cloth, the soil condition, select the right, let's say, program, and do the washing. And at the end, you get a message saying that, okay, I have used this much liter of water, this is the energy consumption, etc. And all this data goes back to the cloud where you do the AI, where you have the data from thousands of such machines, and then you can further optimize and go back and then see how do you reduce the water consumption, how do you optimize your algorithm to reduce the energy consumption. So that's sort of how I look at going forward from 4.0 to 5.0, and it's really at enterprise level, that's how I would put it.
Thanks, Radha, for sharing the thought process, the way you are looking at Industry 5.0 journey. I'll come to Sourabh with you now. Your thoughts on the area of how you're looking at moving into the new era of smart manufacturing. If you can share your thoughts.
Sure. Hello. Yeah. Thank you for the questions. So basically, we come from the industry belt, more from the engineering sector. We are basically the industry more from the B2B part of that. And major of our customers are more from the multiple industry caters, multiple line of divisions. So when I say 4.0 moving to a transition to a 5.0, the major movement of transitions goes in the 4 layer of discovery, design, develop and deploy kind of perspective. And these 4 layer of the areas being catered in the manufacturing and also the marketing trend. When I say the manufacturing, it's like more about a smart manufacturing, talk about IoT, talk about sensors, which my friends have also been talking about, mixed reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence kind of pieces. And the more important is like when I talk about the marketing perspective, we are working more from how the customer data or how the product data is being automized, augmented in a form of analytics, in a form of giving the decision-making kind of solutions, in a form of taking the benefits to have the efficiency and the value propositions to the organization. So when I categorize as a manufacturing, moving to a 4.0 to a 5.0, manufacturing comprise of your manufacturing and the marketing, which I would say overall it's been a combination of the data kind of perspective and how we are going the transformations of that. For that, we are working with the multi of the solutions in terms of, we are working with the augmented reality, we are in the process automations, in several processes related to the several line of the divisions. We are also working in the terms of like marketing to have a omni-channel kind of platform where it's more about to have a multi-inputs, multi-output kind of transition faces onto that. And the more about is like how to have a more handshaky kind of solutions, kind of mobility, or you can say the IoT-based mobility solutions are there. And how this is going to be benefits to our customer in terms of to have immediate actionable with the immediate endpoints, and also to have a immediate process efficiency increase on that. So that's the multi-solutions what we are on top of that.
Thanks, Sourabh. Thanks. I'm sure all of you are noting that all of them come from very different type of organization. He's talked about from a B2B standpoint. Cummins also, I'll put it more as a B2B organization. Whirlpool is an organization which is a very, very front-end B2C kind of a organization. And we talked about also from our facilities, how we manage the facilities. But there is a common thread which is kind of really coming out. And that's the whole point of the smart way of delivering our products and services to our customer. With that, I'll move to Satej. Satej, you are part of the Stellantis group, and which is definitely in one of the key player globally as far as the manufacturing technologies are concerned. And I'm sure you'll be sharing a few of your thought process, what FIAT or Stellantis have been looking at it. And from an India standpoint, how do you really look at automotive industry really taking a step forward as far as the smart manufacturing technologies are concerned?
Thanks. Before I share the examples or the areas where we are working, let me put my perspective on the technologies and how the automotive sector is getting into. Most of these technologies, when we start from concept to execute, are operated at the ground level by operators, most of these. And so these technologies need to be easy to understand, simple to operate, safe to execute, and also secure. And with this, we build the ROI use cases. And when I come to the areas of application where we are working, as well as the industry is operating, in a manufacturing sector, and typically in an automotive manufacturing sector, which comprise of shops like engine shop, body shop, paint shop, assembly, where the line gets completed, and then supplier network before and the consumer or a dealer network after. I think the components have to be considered in totality, how it would affect you as well as others, and that's how we are working. And when we come to the areas of where the impact would happen, I think the thought process we put is breaking the chain into impact areas. So when it's assembly manufacturing, how it will impact reduction in time, which will ultimately give a cost or error rejection, comes to maintenance, comes to safety, quality, delivery, and supply chain. And then we have broken up into the impact use cases. So just to give few flavors, like in manufacturing, in assembly, where a typical material handling or a pick-to-light system exists in almost all the shop floor assemblies, where the system gives signal for what to pick, from where to pick, and in what sequence, but the handling is manual, and that's where the time losses and rejections are happening. So here the smart manufacturing in terms of an automated guided vehicle and direct delivery, pick and deliver is what is a use case for us, would save time and give a cost. Comes to traceability, where in most of the automotive industry, part traceability is an issue. So tracing part by manual scanning versus a smart way of digital tag and scanning surface, and then put a control, interlocking controls in processes where we look forward as an area of exploration and a smart manufacturing way. Coming to maintenance, I think most of us collect data through PLCs, and that gets processed to see the efficiency. But handling big data from the PLCs, plus the ERP of transaction, plus the constraint-based planning system in terms of plans, and your MES, and then correlating that, and giving a preventive plan, and to give a predictive trends, is a use case for us where we are working. Coming to the safety and quality, we have digital twin, but a smarter digital twin of factory for safety surveillance is a potential use case for us, and we are working. More operatable or immediate cases where we are working in Fiat automobile site is on our defect entry and defect recording, where a traditional way is to record digitally using touch and rely on system to capture the data and then pass it on for a repair team in a short span of a specified pitch. But a smarter way of using cognitive, that is enabling the testers to have a variable, a safe variable, to have a speech and a AR kind of a surface defect snapshot is what we are closely working, and it's getting implemented, which would give us a saving of entire lost time and then enable the efficiency and cost. So in nutshell, I would say the technologies are emerging. I think where to use depends on what impact it would bring and how you would basically horizontally and vertically roll it out in your domain, and at the end make it more secure. That gives us a way forward in the smarter way of manufacturing. Thanks.
Thanks, Satej. We have exactly 5.5 minutes. Probably I'll be able to take 2 to 3 questions from the audience. Please, anyone want to ask any question to any of the panelists or an open question, we'll be happy to answer that. Yes, sir.
Hello, I am Dr. Dhananjay, emeritus professor at COP, and I come from an industry called Thought Power Corporation that is based out of Pennsylvania, US. Moving from industry 3.0 to 4.0, it almost took nearly 60 years. And still we are in a process, because basically where this cyber physical interface happen, and basically this is a journey or this is a concept. Still people are, because when I was working at Fraunhofer and originally for European or particularly for German manufacturing, when this concept has been evolved, that is Industry 4.0, that was for the purpose that we want to have a minimum human interference. Yeah. Now, similarly, when we talk about this, in fact, I'm author of a book where we have this mobility 4.0, there's manufacturing 4.0, this HR 4.0. Now, without even looking at the goal, what we achieved through the industry 4.0 and integrate with the whole manufacturing space, straight away we are jumping to like in mobility, because right now for the last 20 years I'm more in mobility, and we already worked on the concept for complete autonomous vehicles and what you call it a level 5. But India is at level 0 and we are moving to level 1, and probably when we say that EV, that will come to level 2. Of course, world over we are thinking of 2 and 3, which will be covering the major portion of it. Now, straight away jumping to 5.0, where we don't have even the visibility and concept which is going in the system about this industry 4.0. It looks little preemptive to think about where the thought process of industry 4.0 itself is not clear. So if you can elaborate something on it.
Good point. Let me first take that, and probably you guys can add on. See, definitely, it's industry 4.0 is still work in progress, and at the same time, we have started talking about industry 5.0. But you need to look at it also from a perspective of there are in industry 4.0 we are trying to achieve certain things, and with the technology's cycle getting a lot more faster, the technology refresh cycle now it's getting a lot more faster. It helps us, or it enables us to move a step further. And looking at India specifically, India has a habit of leapfrogging. Because as you said rightly, from a vehicle analogy standpoint, yes, we are at a practically, we don't have any level for that matter, as far as the autonomous level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is concerned. But we are talking about leapfrogging. There are organizations working on various aspects which are somewhere in the middle. Now, and that's the beauty or that's a benefit which India as a country which started as a zero base enjoy. So from that standpoint, if you look, I talked about a few of the things like the telecom networks. Yes, most of the telcos and the educational institutions are already on the 6G technologies, while the 5G has just been rolled out. And the time taken between 2G to 5G had been probably almost 10 years, whereas 5G to 6G from a technology availability standpoint is going to be a lot lesser than that. Having said that, each and every organization needs to really look at what's the purpose. And the purpose is very clearly, is two, which is kind of coming very clear. Number one, customer. What exactly my customer really want? And for that, whatever needs to be done, can I do it smarter? The second aspect which got added now and become very important for all of us is the sustainability aspect of it. And these are the two themes which are going to drive the industry 4.0 adoption and moving towards industry 5.0. That's how I'll be looking at it. I mean, Gargi, if you want to add anything.
Thanks, Vishwajit. Thank you, Doctor, for your question. Just adding on top of what Vishwajit said, right? So he touched upon the technology aspect to quite a level, but then there are a lot of ESG-related aspects which are taking us to Industry 5.0, right? Nobody had foreseen COVID pandemic, right? And that really made us think about the hybrid way of working. And that hybrid way of working has to translate to manufacturing, right? Otherwise, we are not really getting a lot of people who are, saying manufacturing is my first choice of work, correct? So COVID brought in it, right? The geopolitical tensions that we see. So that is again causing supply chain disruptions. So all of these have to translate, and it's not just the technology progress. Technology progress definitely is one of the factors which is, saying Industry 5.0 adoption has to be there. But if you see the levers of Industry 5.0, I think the ESG also has a lot of role to play there. And generally, historically, if you see, the duration of the next industrial revolution has been shorter, starting with Industry 1.0. So Cummins has been around for 100 years and seen all industry revolutions. So they are actually coming closer by as we progress in the future. So tech as well as ESG is something I would say is driving Industry 5.0.
Yeah. Any other question? We are actually over time, but I would like to take any last question if we have. Okay. With that, we end our session. Thank you, each one of you, and thank you, audience, for having a captive audience for all of us. Thank you.